Titans Beast World Tour Gotham issue 1. We'll talk about the creators as we go because there's like 4 or 5 stories in here. But this, of course, once again, is a tie-in, and we had 2 of these last week, and we hated both of them. It was a miserable time. Yeah. I will say, I think this is the best of the tie-ins so far, but not saying much.
Do you rather be punched in the gut or the balls? That's what you're saying.
Well, I think the first story's okay. Admittedly, the whole story's about where Nightwing's going to put Wolf Batman, and there's some more fighting between them, and at the end of the story he's in a cage. So if you just read Titans Beast World issue 2, where it ends with him holding like unconscious Batwolf, and he's like, I need to find a cage, like you don't need to read this. Like this is implied in the dialogue that he had in the main book. This just shows you that next part.
Right. Well, and I do like that there's the running the through line of, Bruce is still in there, and that, and he's referring to Bruce like a dog, and he's the best boy, and that's the crux of it.
The best part about it is the fact that you do get a little bit of Batman's narration while he's in wolf form, and he's still
that's right,
and he's still kind of in there, and I appreciate that there's a moment where he's still kind of doing the right thing because Batman's still in there in some capacity. But then Dick tries to rely on that and gets chased anyway, and he's like, okay, he needs to go in a cage. He's not going to like completely be in control. But they team up to fight Killer Croc, who gets transformed into a more overt crocodile, basically.
I mean, the art, he's an alligator, but I'll forgive them for that because I know what they were going for,
Much like Nightwing says, I can't tell the difference. So it's fair enough. Not everyone's a animal nerd like you.
True.
What about his head makes him an alligator, not a crocodile?
So you have to look at the snout. If it's a wider snout, it is definitely an alligator. Alligators have a rounded snout.
Okay.
It's a bit more broad. Crocodiles tend to come more to a point, right? And then the placement of the teeth, if, smile like a crocodile, right? The upper teeth tend to show more when the mouth's closed. It's a crocodile. If the lower teeth tend to show more when the mouth's closed, it's an alligator. These are things that you need to learn if you ever go to Florida.
I think you're screwed either way, if it's a crocodile or an alligator, Matt.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, gators do tend to be a lot more chill. Like, yes, they're very dangerous, but, crocodiles tend to be more,
also, do you even get crocodiles in Florida? I thought it was just alligators.
Yes. Nope. There's American crocodiles. They're a lot smaller than the Nile and saltwater varieties you find in Africa and Australia, but they are there. We went to a Florida zoo when we were in Miami, and they had an entire a grouping of the American crocodiles. And to me, I find them way more scary than the alligators, because anytime I see an alligator, they're just kind of floating lazily like a log. These crocodiles were hissing. They're very menacing. So, but I mean, it's Killer Croc. That's probably meant to be more of a.
You're not going to go up and pat the alligator, though. You're not feeling that brave about it.
It depends if there's a handler there or not. In the wild, absolutely not. However, I'm not going to pass up a chance not to pet an alligator.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
And again, this is where my wife says there's something wrong with me, because I'm also the guy that wants to, that I constantly say about bears. If they're not friends, why are they friend-shaped?
Yeah. I will say the other highlight of this is that I do think Miguel Medoncha, who's on the art for this story, I think he particularly does a very good wolf and a very good alligator. I think the animal stuff here looks great. The faces on the humans are a little whatever, but the shading on the fur and the detail in the wolf, like whenever bat wolf like is grilling at someone or gives a look or something, it does look quite fun. So I do think this is completely and utterly skippable and unnecessary, but I do think what is here in this story is very pleasant enough and a fine tie-in thing, which is surprising because Chip Zdarsky wrote it and I've been hating his Batman run, but this was okay.
Yeah, well, it does show me too that if you give him, if you give him something, we can get those shines that we liked in Zdarsky's Batman, right? Because we agree that he mostly understands Bruce, right? So the fact that even in animal form, he's thinking that he needs to protect, there's that deep sense in there. And again, the relationship here with Dick and is all kind of there though too.
Well, to be fair, one of the
yeah.
best things he ever did in his Batman run is when all the Bat family were trying to help him with Failsafe. It was one of the better issues he ever did. And it maybe suggests to me that he understands the Bat family more than he understands Batman himself. But I could be wrong there.
Yeah.
But it was just perfectly fine. I was not mad at reading this first story. It goes downhill a bit. After that, I'll say. There's a Harley story next, written by Grace Ellis and art by Daniel Hillard. And this is basically like a goon, like a henchman for one of the villains, is in therapy because he keeps hearing giant bunny footsteps. And everyone thinks he's just imagining it, including the therapist. But then, of course, Bunny Harley Quinn shows up at his therapy session, and she's big and bulky and muscly. I think the weird thing about this story to me is that this implies that she's been stalking this guy for weeks, and I'm like, is Beast World even going to last that long in continuity? I don't think it is. I think it's going to be a few days.
What was the movie? Was it Jimmy Stewart where he sees the giant?
Harvey, you're thinking of.
Harvey, yeah. I was getting shades of Harvey, which, here. But yeah, this is where I went, oh no.
This
is the second story?
This was just fluff. Yeah. This was just like someone had a weird bunny-related idea with Harley because they thought the visual was funny. And the visual's mildly amusing.
I like the art by Hilliard. I think it fits the vibe of the Harley and Ivy stuff that I've read. It's a little bit cartoony, but still just enough. Like, it has those nice, clean lines. It just doesn't... like the bunny Harley that's hulking looks scary. Like, it's, but yeah, the story itself was just kind of like, eh.
It just doesn't fit the vibe of the event at all. It doesn't fit anywhere. And the whole story apparently was to get this guy to give up his phone because Poison Ivy sent in Bunny Harley Quinn to get it. And I got to the end of this and went, well, that was like 4 minutes, so I'm not getting back.
That was nothing, yeah.
It was pointless. And then there's a Red Hood story called Scavengers. This is written by Gretchen Felker Martin and art by Ivan Sharvin. And this is Red Hood as a wolf. And, again, like, I didn't really think much of the story. It's kind of a big fat load of nothing. I will say I was kind of into the art, though. I think the art looks quite pretty. Wolf Red Hood looks kind of cool. But not much really happens. It's just Red Hood's inner monologue as he's fighting some SWAT team guys, and then eventually, Ratcatcher, who's a giant rat, comes out and he fights him.
Yeah, like a giant mole rat.
Yeah.
Very, very scary. I do appreciate the fact that the domino mask that Jason wears is still on his wolf form. I thought that was kind of funny.
Joey, it looks like someone draws the big bad wolf. That's the sort of wolf vibes that I get from him.
Well, I was gonna complain about the proportions of the arms, but then I realized that's the entire issue. That's just the way that this artist is chosen to draw on Wolf Jason. Because on that one page where he starts to fight Ratcatcher, on the opposite page, his arms look super, super long. But then I look over, and that's just how it is. But no, the art. I really enjoy all the wolf stuff. I never need to see him blown up in the warehouse again. That's up there with the pearls. You know what I mean? But yeah, this was much more the vibe of Beast World. This felt more than the last one.
Yeah, it felt like
this is currently ongoing.
It felt like it fit. Yeah. Next up, this is the thing. There's actually more stories in this one than the one from last week. But the downside to that is that a lot of them are really short. These last 4 are all quite short, including the Red Hood one.
And quality doesn't make up for quantity, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So
Huntress is next, and she's fighting a dude. She's trying to arrest a dude, a councilman who's corrupt, and then she turns into a jaguar or something.
A panther. Yeah.
You think panther? Okay.
Yeah.
And so and this is nothing. Well, I do. Don't get me wrong. I do like that Cass shows up. I like that Cass is taking on Huntress, but it's all just a build up to a joke. It's a punchline of a story because the joke is that when Cass pulls out her grapple gun with a laser sight, which by the way, we've never seen them have a laser sight before. It's just for this story, and the joke is that is that Panther Huntress starts chasing the laser sight, and Cass just looks bored as she's moving the laser sight around.
It is kind of funny though. Like for a bit, you know, I do think it's funny. Not with not with the pages though. You know what I mean?
I think
like if this was a background thing in the Beast World main book, I think it would be fine.
See if this was like 3 panels in the background where you do a panel setting it up, and then a few pages later when other things are going on, you just see in the background that Cass is like moving one of the cat people with a laser sight. Yeah. That would be funny as a little background gag. As a 4, 5, 6 page story, whatever this was, it was tedious, and I love Cass, and I even like Huntress a lot, but I just this did nothing for me.
So here's one nitpick I have where it says Cassandra Cain, better known as Batgirl. The 4th one once replaced Helena as Batgirl, but it's fine. When was Helena ever Batgirl?
No, that was a thing. Like my issue here wasn't that it was that she replaced Helena, because I'm pretty sure Helena did moonlight as a Batgirl briefly before No Man's Land or during the start of No Man's Land, right? I think it was early No Man's Land, and then Cass became proper Batgirl.
Okay.
However, I'm not sure where the number 4, like, if you count Helena as a Batgirl, which is a bit of a cheat because it wasn't like a long-term thing, but if you include that as a Batgirl, then that would make Cass 3rd and Stephanie 4th. I would have argued. Admittedly, though, there's so many comic books that it's entirely possible that there's 9 Batgirls, and I'm just missing some of the short-term ones that I can't remember or just didn't know about.
But so I didn't even realize that Helena was ever Batgirl.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. She never had a Batgirl book. It wasn't like something that became like a mainstay feature. It was just she was going around as Batgirl, I think, at the start of No Man's Land. Because it was during No Man's Land when Cass became Batgirl.
Right. That's where she made her first appearance, right? Yeah. It was in the suit that we all know, the orphan suit with the blacked out eyes. Or did that come after?
I can't remember that well. I remember that. I think it was Helena who was running about as a Batgirl before that. When Batman wasn't there, I think Helena was running around trying to keep the idea of the Bat alive because chaos was ensuing. So I don't know. It's like I'm sure in some way it's probably a correct statement, but the number 4 definitely threw me off.
That's what it threw me off completely because I was like, I mean, she's kind of. I don't know. Second Batgirl to me. I
don't know if. Again, they're clearly counting Helena, and that's fine. I wouldn't, but at least in their sentence they are. But I just there's probably some Silver Age Batgirl that was there for a little while or something.
Not our Kate, but the other Kate.
Yeah, maybe they're counting. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know.
But either way,
all the build up for a joke too. So, and that's where I tapped out because I was like, I have other books.
But the last story was Stephanie Brown, so I had to read and see what it was.
Yeah, which I wanted to, but and also I don't like Kelly Jones's Batman that much. I think the ears are too big, everything.
But Batman's not in this story, so
I know. That's what I'm saying. Flipping through the art right now, the art looks fantastic. Like his stuff looks great. The I'm guessing that's Killer Moth because it's a giant moth creature. Looks great. So, Kelly Jones. That's also why I tapped. I was like, it's Kelly Jones. I don't.
Yeah,
I was wrong. The art's good.
Yeah, it's Kel Stark's writing this one. It's basically, again, it's really short. Like, I love that both Steph and Cass got stories here, but they are both really short changed in terms of like page count. It's basically just Steph investigating this warehouse because there's an animal attack inside, and it turns out to be Killer Moth, who is literally now a big. Well, he's not even a moth. He's actually turned into a cockroach, but it is Killer Moth. And this also kind of builds up to a joke. Don't get me wrong, it's not as stupid as the previous joke. This is more of a sort of typical comic book joke where Killer Moth Roach basically severs Steph's belt, and she's like, you know what, I don't need my tricks to beat you, I just need my boots because you're a roach. And then the next page, she's walking out of the building with this like goo, like, cockroach blood all over her boots.
Neon green.
Yeah. And she's like, hey, boys, it's fine. Everything's dealt with. So it's, it wasn't an annoying story. It was vaguely amusing. And like you say, Kelly Jones Steph does look all right. Little bit over-sexualized in the region, but
Well, as I was saying that too about the Kelly Jones art, there's a page that is just essentially just a looking down her butt,
Yes.
you know, in an impossible position.
There's definitely some.
So there's some of that.
Yeah, there's definitely some dated, you know, sex appeal stuff in the art going on.
Yes.
But, no, you know, like probably my second favorite story of the book, which is not saying a whole lot, but it is what it is. Needless to say, do I recommend you buy this tie-in issue? No, I don't really. It's better than the ones from last week, but not by much. It's just less frustrating. And even then, it's still frustrating for some of them. But it's definitely pissed me off far less than the ones from last week. So I think you read enough of it, Matt. What are you rating?
Yeah.
The Gotham
I'm going to
tour?
give this, and it's mostly for art that's pretty decent throughout. I'm going to give this a 6.
Yeah, I think a 6 sounds about fair. I think it, well, 5.5. I think it's just over the line. I'll say 5.5 because it's just over the line. I think the first story's a decent enough read, but again, not essential. Last story's an okay enough read, but very not essential. And then there's some crudge in the middle. There's some nice art here or there. There's some ugly art elsewhere. It's just, you know, it's a bit of a hodgepodge, but it's got more positives than anything from last week's tie-ins did. So there you go.